One thing I wanted to ask you about was transport emissions, because that's something I feel like doesn't often get talked about. But there's a report that said transport is going to be one of the highest sources of emissions by 2030. Obviously, all the cars on the road and planes and things like that. So obviously, there's solutions that have been put forward, like shifting to public transport. Some people think electric vehicles are the answer. What are your kind of thoughts on the whole transport emissions and what can we do about it?
Amazing question, and I've never been asked that before. This is really exciting. I'm thinking of transport emissions, and I think this I was reading this really interesting book about like degrowth capitalism, but then she was like, it was by Katie Sofer, and I've completely forgotten the name, but it was something about you had to like present it in a way that sparked joy. But yeah, just like something like a short plane trip across the US produces more carbon emissions than like someone will in an entire year. I just think like in terms of transport emissions, I think we have to radically alter the way it comes with like I just don't think like EVs are gonna necessarily be like the fix all. I think to really sort of like tackle these, there's gonna have to be like a radical shift in the way we like live and produce and consume. And I just don't think we can continue to like be like, like normalize things like Euro summer or like, just like 5 minute drive down to IGA when it would be like a 10-minute walk, stuff like that. I just think these things like so ingrained in our way of life here in the West, it's almost seen as like a right. Like it's like your right to go to Italy and like sip that little like limoncello on a beach. It's your right to like take like a 2 minute car ride when it would have been like a 5 minute walk. And I just think like without a radical change in our thinking, like it's just like, yeah, it's always going to be an issue, which sucks. So I think I'm a very big sort of advocate. Oh, I've never said this out loud before, but definitely for like a sort of like degrowth, like societal type shift in the way we, I guess, consume and live. Because yeah, it's just really not sustainable at a large scale.